This is a a note to myself. Don't bloody crash this thing, because if you crash it, it really messes up the CPU and the battery, and like everything seemed to be fine. Even, there was still plenty of battery left, but it just conked out of nowhere. So about 4 miles is taken away from it now. Ugh. I'm kind of upset because like, I was having such a good time. Even met like a stranger who was on the Fuze Max, and he recognized me because he watched my video. Now on the same day, many minutes later, my scooter conked out for the first time. Now I'm gonna have to really send it to a repair shop. I'm very upset about that, but I'm happy to say it is my fault. I don't have to blame anything on the quality of the scooter. It is my fault, and hopefully they could do something about it.
Yes, I crashed my scooter again. Twice. Only this time, one of them was my fault. How are you? Hope you're good, everyone. I hope everyone's coping right now with the second wave this November. It's awful right now, but I know it'll be over soon. We've been there before, so we can get through this again. Anyway, that aside, I'd like to make a public service announcement, but also an update on what it's like living with the Fuze Max that I got right now, based on what I said in my last video. Don't crash your scooter. For the love of Christ, don't crash your scooter. Don't crash any scooter, but don't crash this one, because the negative repercussions you'll get, performance-wise and financial-wise, it's not going to look good. And I'll explain why. So on the first crash, which was my fault, I was going on this bike lane onwards to rehearsals, and what's happened was there was like these two poles right here that I thought, okay, I'm in this area where I feel like I could fit through this, but I overestimated how wide these poles would be, and the handlebars were too wide to fit through, just a bit too wide. So I went through it, but I broke one of my brake levers, and it resulted in me getting some a cut somewhere. I can't remember. I've healed since then. So I was like, okay, crap. I'm gonna see if I can find time to send it to the repair shop sometime later on, and that hopefully that's it. But no. As I was heading back home, around 2 miles from home, the scooter conked out again.
It's not a coincidence. I did, unfortunately, had a little crash, which messed up the rear brake. You can see it's broken. And thing is, it wasn't that hard, but still, I do believe that the crash had an impact on how this performs now, because it's conked out again. Look, I've already got like a flesh wound from that.
Rinse and repeat. You've heard the situation already, and that's why I'm saying it is definitely 100% to do with the crash. Even if it's the smallest and most minimal of crashes that won't really damage the whole system, if you were to think about what the scooter has to go through in terms of like punishment on the road with its hard suspension, you would think that something like, I don't know, damaging your brake lever wouldn't really impact the battery's performance, but it has, and so it is what it is. So then I sent it to the repair shop to see if I could get the brake lever fixed and the battery fixed. And thankfully they fixed my brake lever. They couldn't really fix my battery. And I was baffled at first. I was like, you couldn't fix the battery? And then I got skeptical and thought, maybe your scooter has some sort of like collision detection system, where it's like your scooter is programmed to downgrade once it comes through any certain kind of impact. And so it could be rewired or decoded so it could be fixed again. Because surely something as small as that impact wouldn't damage the battery that much. But it in fact has, and there's nothing they could really do about it, because what they've said is some of the battery cells might have died during the impact, which would have impacted the scooter's performance. And I still don't know why the scooter just doesn't work at all and makes that siren sound when you try and actually scoot it home, when you can't be asked to take public transport and walk it. You have to just try and pedal it, and even when you charge it, it makes that same sound. So I was annoyed, And what they also said is that they didn't, at this current time right now, until December, they won't have any Fuze Max batteries to replace the damaged one here. They only have the standard ones. And I thought it wouldn't make sense to replace the standard one, which is about 230 pounds approximately, plus 80 pounds labor or something like that, because the Fuze Max at that moment is performing on the capabilities of a normal fuse, so it wouldn't make sense to replace it with a standard battery. Jesus, raining really badly right now. I've got to go see my dad soon, and I'm gotta travel in that. So anyway, after that conversation, after the repairs, I thought to myself, okay, I could live with this for a bit. Maybe if I just wait it out and give it a bit more time, I could get used to this, and when I have a bit more money, I could get the scooter's battery replaced. But then another time, when I was on my way home, this is where it wasn't my fault. I was on this bike lane, and on this like side road, a moped cut in front of me. Cut right in front of me without even looking, and it was really damp as well. And because these tires are designed in such a way where you don't really get much traction at all in damp weather conditions, the brakes worked, but there was no grip on the road. I hit the back end of the moped and fell on the floor, and I was annoyed because it was all his fault. He got in my way without looking. Everything was fine, it was still working, but the scooter conked out again, and it's working below the capabilities of a regular fuse, so it's really just not good anymore. I think it travels about 15 or 15 miles around on second gear, which is a bit less than when scooter had its first conk out. So anyway, it was what it was, and then at this point I was just like, okay, I really cannot trust anybody on the road, because no matter how much I try not to crash, there could be someone from a moped driver to a Toyota Prius cutting right in front of you, and that's it. Thankfully, I'm still alive, so that's all that matters. But still, people are annoying. So last week I started to think, so why does it take like a while for the scooter to register that the battery is damaged? If it's like, okay, I've been through a crash, the speedo doesn't tell me that the battery is not working as well, or like the battery indicator is detecting that it's running out of power a lot quicker than it usually does. It only does that after you drain it to about 2 or 3 miles left, and then it just dies. And then you gotta run it home and then charge it, and then you start noticing, oh, the battery indicator is showing that the battery is not very good right now, like it's doing less mileage than it usually does. And so I think I figured it out. I think I know why. The speedo doesn't really detect that the battery is damaged or underpowered until you actually drain it dry. Once it's drained dry, it then kind of resets the battery levels, and then it starts detecting the amount of power depletion, and it starts making more sense to me. The battery was in fact damaged at the crash, and so at that moment the speedo doesn't really recognize it until you drain it dry, and that's what happens. That's all I gotta say. And while it sucks, it does allow me more clarity on what's actually going on around me, and what actually happens when you kind of don't really treat the scooter with the care that you should be giving it, or that you should be more aware of your surroundings in case some idiot gets in your way and just ruins your day. I'll reiterate myself again, don't crash your Fuze Max or your Fuze, because the prices you'll be paying are ridiculous. The standard Fuze battery, from what I remember, costs about £230. I don't really know how much the Fuze Max battery is, since they're not in stock yet until December, which is when I'll get it replaced. But I imagine it'll be over £300. And they charge ridiculous amounts of money for the labor. The labor itself is I think I remember it being around £80. It's really expensive. They charge you moped prices for repairs, yet you're just having like a scooter for repairs. In my personal opinion, it's really overpriced and expensive, and hence why I'm making this abundantly clear to you that you should not crash your scooter, not just because your scooter will underperform, but the amount that you have to throw out of your wallet would be excruciating for you. I can imagine so. And that's all I have to say. On the bright side, the Fuze Max has some slight design changes. Fuze Systems have made some slight design changes in terms of the paintwork. They've added some different red streaks along the side of the scooter, which I think looks a lot nicer than just the two stripes on the platform. I do feel like the scooter looks a little better. I still wish that they would actually change some components like the mudguard, which is too small for the wheelbase in my opinion. My bag does in fact get dirty, and I've actually had to add like a homemade attachment to my mudguard so that my clothes and trousers don't get dirty. Fuze Systems, if you're watching, because I know you are, I'd recommend you use the same mudguard, but I don't know, somehow extend it longer so that it covers the whole wheelbase, so that it actually does its job, rather than doing a half-assed job. That's just my opinion.
Hey, quick little edit. While I was editing this, I forgot to mention something kind of cool that Fuze Systems has put into my scooter while they were repairing. They did this thing where if you accelerate and then you hold the trigger or the throttle for about 5 seconds at a certain speed, it locks that speed so you don't have to keep your finger on the throttle for however long you want to do it. So you get little to no fatigue anymore. The only annoying thing is if you want to go slow, you have to maintain that speed with this rocky suspension for 5 seconds straight without flinching. But I really have been taking advantage of this feature because it's so nice. It really is nice. I could go like 16 or so miles an hour in a straight line without any fatigue on my finger anymore. So thank you Fuze Systems. Not too sure how to implement this feature, but thank you. I appreciate that.
So anyway, that's all I've got to say. I hope you've enjoyed this video and my past couple videos. I just gotta say, I've never received this much attention on my videos in years, in fact, ever. The views have been higher than ever on my channel, and I just want to thank every one of you for taking the time to watch my videos, my reviews. I truly, strongly appreciate them, and some of the criticisms that I've been getting as well, and the feedback and ideas that I get in my comment sections as well, are also strongly appreciated. I can only just thank the viewers and everyone for pitching in and giving your input on not just ideas for other different types of scooters, but also ideas to kind of make your scooter a little easier to live with. So thank you again. So if you enjoyed this video or found this video very helpful, smash that like button, subscribe if you're interested, and if you really liked it, share with a friend who might be interested in purchasing an e-scooter. Much is appreciated. But also, I might say that this is the last time I'll be talking about the Fuze Max or the Fuze, as there isn't really any more to say about the scooter. If anyone who owns a Fuze Max has anything extra to say, you could make your own video about it. You could put it in the description of my videos. I think I've done my part here, and I think I'll be making a slight content shift at this point. So thank you all for sticking by me. Stay well, stay safe, and stay clean. I'm JLC Gallia, and good night.